Welcome to the Go Pitch Win podcast, the show where entrepreneurs pitch their best business ideas to our industry leaders. Each week, one will move forward towards the grand prize, $10,000. One winner. So get ready. And now, here's your host, Greg Mercer.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Go Pitch Win. I'm your host, Greg Mercer, and today I am joined by guest judge Laura Roeder.
Hello.
Here in the studio with me. Laura is the founder of Meet Edgar, a social media automation tool designed to prevent status updates from going to waste. Laura's given talks at conferences like Blog Her and South by Southwest, and she's spoken about the value of independent entrepreneurship at the White House. Impressive. She's also appeared in Forbes, Fast Company, Mashable, CNET, and other major publications. Laura, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I've always wanted to be a shark, and I feel like my dream is coming true.
All right. And today, pitching their business idea is Cory and Eric from Curo Homes. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Doing great. Thanks for the intro.
Absolutely. We're excited to learn more about your business. With that being said, why don't we jump right into it? Tell us more about yourselves and about your company.
It's time for today's business idea.
My name is Cory Johnson. I'm the co-founder of Curo Home, and we are based in Incline Village, Nevada, which is quite exciting because that's the northern side of Lake Tahoe, which of course the lake splits between California and Nevada. So now we're starting to service clients in both states, which holds up a whole bunch of different regulations and contracting, which is we'll probably get into during our presentation, but that's who we are and where we're based. Eric, why don't you tell them what we do?
Yeah, so my name's Eric Unterberger, and I'm the founder of Curo Home. And what we provide is concierge task management services for the vacation homeowners and short-term renters in the area. So we're the ones going out, we're picking up the groceries, we're getting the mail, we're bringing that in. We're opening up the homes for them, for any renters that come in the area. We're even helping them schedule their vacations to ensure a seamless transition between them coming up from wherever they're coming and then staying in the area and going on with their vacation in the area.
So just like any other one would go to a resort or a hotel, they typically go to the front desk and ask where the concierge is to coordinate their trips or activities, or what can I do locally? Well, just like the Lake Tahoe needs, there's a number of homeowners that come up with those same requests because they own let's say $1 million condo or a multi-million-dollar home as a second or third property in the area, and now they're looking for these concierge services to be brought to their experience at home. So these are the types of homes that we are servicing, and these are large luxury properties. And because it is in this luxury vacation home destination, just like Vail or Aspen or Whistler, Lake Tahoe really draws in a lot of people who are looking for an additional experience. And Curo Home really specializes in providing convenience and service to those homes, along with those homeowners' needs during their vacation. Now, when we talk about our vision of where we really see ourselves going, it comes back to being seen as the preferred home concierge amongst mountain towns across the U.S. And we believe that's completely possible because our competition is based out of handymen, neighbors, and local friends or contacts. There's not really a concierge service being provided to homes in mountain towns because of its tough access. It is a very remote area that needs more feet and hands on the ground. So we're hiring local representatives who've been in the area or also able to provide these clients services.
And you also have to understand the convenience of service and the ease of access to representatives that will actually be able to provide services to our clients. So our vision, with the mountain homes, is to create a platform that makes that seamless transition for the homeowners to connect with representatives to get services done and provided to them. So we're looking to service over 250 plus homes in the Tahoe Basin. That's what we're scheduled on to doing in 2019. And we'll get into more about what that will provide in regards to capital to be able to help us build up the company and move forward with our growth in other mountain towns across the U.S. With 250 clients, we need approximately 7 representatives to be able to service their needs, which would be about 7,000 annual requests per client. And that's about 2 to 3 requests a client. We're getting us at about a 315,000 gross income with 180 total net income after all expenses, taxes, and as well as payroll.
Now, to break down those numbers for those who are listening or may not be able to see the screen, the number of clients we're based off of is the number of requests that they may have out. And these requests can go anything from a checkup of their house as it sits unoccupied for a period of time, or to a task that they have while they're on site or off. And that goes into the entailing, can you open the garage, or can you open the house for the plumber as they come in to fix something? Can you prep the home before my grandparents arrive? Can you make sure the walkways are shoveled for an ease of access? Right. These are the types of requests that we're able to provide, and we recognize the number of, quote, representatives are the people we have servicing specific areas around the basin of the lake. Eric excitingly started this company right out of college, and then he set it up as legitimately as possible with our own contacts, from the business structure to legal and insurance. You can go into a little bit of detail on that, Eric. It'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, I started up as a Nevada-based LLC. While I was in college, actually. It was through a pitch competition. We'll get into that story in a little bit. But we set up our legal advisory board through Reese and Kintz, and they've been providing our services, or providing us with their services ever since, from the very beginning, which then allowed us to get all of our ducks in a row to bond the company, as well as to insure and bond our representatives.
So as a legitimate company that is bonded, insured, and with legal counsel, along with some advisory board members we have, just to make sure Eric and I are running a sufficient business, we also want everybody to look at the market size around the basin, or around the entire lake. Now, just at the North Lake, you got over 5,000 people, in South Lake over 14, and in Truckee over 10,000, giving us around a total market share, or a total market opportunity, about 30,000 homes, 30,000 vacation homes in that area. Now, us tapping into a small percentage of that, we see only growing over the years to come, which is exciting for us to see where the opportunities may lie. Now, we do have a team. Our team is pretty sufficiently based out of pretty young, ambitious people. And Eric will tell you how we've met a lot of them.
It's kind of a funny story. I mean, three of which, I've just met randomly. Take Will Farhan. He's our development and administration, just a really, really sharp kid. But I'm just working out of a coffee shop in town, which is where I do most of my work. And I'm sitting across from him, and he strikes up a conversation. We find out that, he's into tech, and I'm like, hey, we might have a position for you. So why don't you learn a little bit more about us? And we ended up talking for about an hour. And that goes on from Will to Marissa, who's a local college student here in town, who came on, as an intern initially, as well as Gary Clark, who reached out to us, and he's from down in Reno. So he's now our area representative. And then same with Cory. And we also have another story on how we started the business together. But it's all done through these, just these personal connections and relationships, which we feel like we're really able to provide to our clients as well. So as we do that internally with our team, we're able to provide that personal connection to our clients.
Now, one of the other questions that was asked is, what stage are we really in? Now, Laura and Greg, we're really focused on a growth stage. So with our legal entity fully optimized, we have the team to grow. It then goes into the growth stage of now us recognizing what new areas we're going to stand into. We currently have a handful of clients here in Incline Village, and we've now started to receive requests from Kings Beach, Truckee, South Lake, North Star, and Squaw Valley, and these are large resorts. And that grows us on an operation side. And then the second growth is we're working with a software engineer with an immense amount of experience to also then build up an application. As Eric briefly mentioned, that application will allow us to optimize all of our services and address any requests at even more convenience to the homeowners. So before their arrival, they can go on their application and say, I want XYZ done. I'll be there in so many hours. And that's these two phases of growth. It comes back to us growing our serviceable areas, along with us growing the application and the team of coders we need to create that.
You'll notice in June as well as August that our services are seasonal based. So oftentimes there will be periods where growth isn't quite so fast. So that's the periods that we really need to focus on our marketing, as well as breaking out and finding people or getting people to understand what we're providing them. So as we go through these transition pages or phases from summer to winter, that's when we have our local marketing pushes, as well as our holiday marketing pushes, as well as our summer marketing pushes from June, August to November.
Now, the question of how we got started, like you hear maybe our enthusiasm and excitement because we've created a really solid friendship between each other, and it all is based on a bike ride. So as I was a graduate and so an alumni of Sierra Nevada College, where we both which is both of our alma maters. They put together a team to do a 72-mile bike ride around the circumference of the lake. And Eric and I found ourselves at the same pace, not really knowing each other, but saying, hey, you're wearing the same jersey, you supporting the same team, let's ride together. And throughout that trip around the lake, we pushed each other. And then we started individually, but ended together. And ever since then, we've continued to ride and share stories. And that's what really built out this relationship of both competition and kind of growth. Now, our first clients and everything came through referrals. And then our first intern came through wanting to be a part of a team that we created. And that really fundamentally is based on having fun and being really connected. Knowing more about your partner on a personal, physical, and professional side. And not just much as like, oh, we're business partners. But no, we're now really good friends that push each other in every way we can.
So that leads into the other question that you guys proposed for us was, well, what are we going to use the $10,000 for? So we created a slide to kind of break down exactly where we would put it. And that would go from our affiliate sponsors to internal operations and direct marketing. And Cory can expand a little bit on our affiliate sponsorships.
Yeah, so when we first put out a kind of an application or the short video on why we wanted to be a part of the Jungle Scout and the pitch competition, was we put together the funds of self-starters and bootstrapped the money to come and sponsor a real estate conference where there's over 1,000 realtors all through Coldwell Bankers, and there's 13 offices around the basin. And we knew that's our market. For us to meet homeowners, we got to meet the people that are selling or buying their houses. And so we'd like to use some of the capital, about 11% of it, to sponsor affiliate conferences and memberships, such as the Board of Realtor Groups, which will put us in touch with 500 realtors. And we have a monthly meeting, and that gives us just additional touching or contact points with them to really get to knowing and trusting us, so then they can refer us to the homeowners they know locally.
And that will pull us into other marketing channels as well. So we have our social media and online marketing, as well as print advertisements, mailing promotions, and events and travel like Cory was just talking about. So we got to be able to make sure that we can reach our target audience via online, which will be more for the short-term rentals clients. And then we have our vacation homeowners who we identified as more, they'll read print advertisements, they'll read the local newspapers, so on and so forth, even local magazines in town. And that's what really breaks us out to that community. There's also expenses into our back end, as well as our administration to be able to run the back end internal operations, which we'll also be using the funds for as well.
Yeah. I mean, to simplify that, it comes back to innovation and marketing. Well, yes, we have to operate our business, but to grow the business, we have to be able to market it. So majority of our expenses will always be directed there. Now that kind of summarizes what we've created, and we've got a short Christmas video along with a kind of an overview of an inspection.
I'm a Curo Home representative, and this is my story on how I saved a homeowner's time, money, and energy. I was performing a regular home checkup when I identified a serious issue in the garage. I documented the issue and then called the homeowner directly, then provided him with our recommended service providers.
While I was out of town, I received a call from my Curo representative who had just done a checkup on one of my homes in Tahoe. When she was there, she found a carbon monoxide leak in the air ducts. This problem could have really put my family and my home at risk. Overall, I'm really happy with Curo Home Services. The best part about it was that the problem was already taken care of before I even got home.
Thank you for listening to my story. For more information, visit curohome.com.
Out of curiosity, how old are you guys?
I'm 25, Greg.
I'm 23.
Cool, right on. So you guys, you do work on this full time?
So I'm full time with it. So I'm the one answering the calls, getting client requests in, basically managing the back ends of the business. I do work a remote part-time job, but it's only a few hours a week.
Curo is more of a full-time startup. So I also have a full-time job from, say, about 8 till 2 o'clock during the day to represent an investment firm. So I make a lot of calls to the East Coast. I don't know how I messed up the timing, so my apologies.
And how has it been funded so far?
Self-funded, right.
How much money have you guys invested so far?
$7,000.
Kind of like two things. I'm still a little bit confused on like the overall business plan and also like the monetization strategy. So like, I guess like, let's start right now. How many homes do you manage?
We manage a little less than 10 homes. So they've basically been our beta testers for the last say, about 5 months now, offering regular services. Well, for a single home, they'll do anywhere from 2 requests a month till about 10 requests. And that's anything like I was explaining before, like going up, picking up the packages, getting them from the airport, picking up groceries, or checking on the properties, which we do regular checkups on them as well if the home's unoccupied for extended periods of time.
The simplest way to describe it, Greg, is we're a personal assistant. Just like a lot of business owners are outsourcing their assistant work in the office to the Philippines or India or anywhere else, they're paying them typically per hour, where we're charging clients locally per request. Now, a request is charged about a $35 per request service. Now, a homeowner asks for something to be done. They can call a local representative who is then typically employed by Curo Home to provide that service. Curo, as a business, takes a portion of that, just as though Uber or Lyft or any of the other kind of like independently contracted model works, where we have a handful of representatives in local areas. We have employed them, not independently contracted them, but they're more of an on-call service, where as soon as a request comes into the company, it's then dispersed out to a representative in that area to service that house.
Because your like overall monetization strategy is to charge per request. So we'll call it $35. So like, hey, I want you to go do something in my house. That's charged $35. You guys are taking a commission, and then you have a network of service providers to perform these different requests. Is that accurate? Okay. And then, so the benefit of using Curo Homes as opposed to like a different, just like typical vacation rental management or home management property, what would you say is your like differentiating factor why people would want to use you?
So the biggest differentiator is for one, it's more personalized. Two, it's a higher end service and it's more direct. Now, the property management business model is there to service typically rental properties where they're looking for constant turnover. Either every day or every weekend, they're putting a new family in that house to rent it for that period of time because it's more vacation based. Now, the homes that sit unoccupied in mountain towns and vacation coastal areas for months on end are what we see as underserved. Now, Eric and I both had a handful of investors and local contacts who came to us saying they're always complaining about there's no one being able to take care of their home while they're away, or them showing up and water pipes burst, or showing up and a bear broke into the garage and no one's there to take care of that. Now, as a renter, that doesn't concern you. But as a homeowner that owns a property that's being underserved because they're not able to be there all the time, that's where our differentiator is. We've now more or less been the one-stop shop or the business that's now servicing that market with a lot less competition in the area.
You mentioned both serving the homeowner and serving the renter, but that's it's a very different business. The services that you're providing, doing all the management for vacation rentals versus just the homeowner. So is your plan to do both of those businesses?
Actually, no. So the short-term rental management companies, they'll take care of anything from, hiring your service providers, taking in client requests, or not requests, bookings as well. So their vendor management, their online bookings, and then they handle all transactions as well through the company. And that's the big differentiator between us and the property management companies, whereas they handle all those logistics, whereas we handle specific task requests by the homeowners that they often don't provide. And that's the higher end concierge services. And so those would be high end concierge services for short-term renter markets. And then there's also the home checkups, as well as those concierge services for vacation homeowners as well. They kind of spill off into both markets, so long as we're not actively managing the property at the homeowner's consent.
The homeowners that own the property have specific requests to their own vacation. While if they rent the property on a weekend, those guests have their own personal, more hotel resort guest requests, such as, what activities do I do? Can someone drive me to a specific location? Now, the property management companies are actually hiring us to provide these concierge services to their rental guests because it increases the quality of service that they can offer. So we're still providing the same services to homeowners of a vacation home that sits unoccupied, along with the rental guests that stay in that property during a short period of time, because they have the same request on, can I have a driver take me from here to there? Can someone pick up my groceries? Can somebody bring me a 30-pack on the weekend for my buddies because no one can drive? These are the random requests we have that the property management company won't provide, but needs to hire us to do those services.
Okay, I mean, in your presentation, you talked a lot about the homeowner, but hearing you say that property management companies would also hire you, that seems like it could potentially even be a better way to go marketing wise, because of course you're going to get, it's not one-to-one, right? You could hire a property management company and then helping out with houses with one contract.
Yeah, so we have that opportunity with a nationally branded property management company called Invited Home, which is really an exciting piece. And one of our marketing initiatives has been to present at real estate. So each office of a real estate brokerage will host monthly kind of sales trainings for their team. And we've been invited to a handful of these meetings to come and present our services, because it's an additional value add for the real estate agents just to know that there is a concierge service based locally. Now, this property management company was also there in attendance to hear about the message and present their offering, and then reached out to us saying, hey, our 50 or so clients around the basin are constantly calling us asking for these concierge services on coordinating ski trips and boating trips and places to hike. And we don't have the bandwidth or the staff to service those needs. Would you guys think about partnering with us? And now we've been open to that opportunity. We'll finalize it tomorrow, actually, on a call.
So how do you take requests currently without the software?
So oftentimes requests will come in either via email, text message, phone calls. Those are the top three. And then we have to put that all into a database so that it's stored, it's documented, as well as it's scheduled for the future. And from that database, our representatives are able to see the request and fulfill that request. And we follow up with them regularly to make sure that it's fulfilled.
Do you feel like you have enough capacity of service providers to scale this up to say like 100 homes or 500 homes? Or is acquiring new customers your biggest challenge right now? Or is the other side of essentially the marketplace a challenge for you as well?
Acquiring new clients is our hardest piece because it is a new concept to being added to homes. Like I mentioned in the beginning, everyone knows what it's like to have a concierge at a resort in Hawaii or in the mountain towns. Like, it's expected to have it. Now, to have a multi-million-dollar home and have a concierge related to that property is a new concept to a lot of homeowners. And that's why it's been kind of hard for us to get our early adopters. But as we've built these affiliate relationships on property managers and real estate agents, we're starting to come into a lot more referrals and getting acknowledged in magazines and newspapers locally as a new service being added to the community has been another big push. So right now we're on this momentum period where the $10,000 would be really, really helpful for us to be able to go out there and do a lot more print advertising to keep the momentum that we've been able to create on our personal being able to finance and publish in events.
Is there some sort of initial fee? I'm just wondering why it's hard to get people signed up if they don't really have to pay until they need anything. Like I own a vacation home and I'm thinking, yeah, like why wouldn't I tell my tenants, hey, we work with this service. If you want to contact them, well, you're going to have to pay for it yourself. It's $35. Like, do I as the homeowner have to do any sort of initial contracts or commitment?
No,
it's a matter of just clicking terms of service, agreeing to a terms of service agreement, and then you're good. You gotta be able to fill out a form, or if not, you can call me or Cory via phone, and we'll get you and put it into the system. So each client that would call or potential client would essentially, we have a profile for them. So we understand their home, we know the address, we know the special access codes, how to get in, as well as the profile of the homeowner. So where their main address is, name, and so on and so forth. So we build the profiles for them. And that generally doesn't take too long to be able to do. So it allows us to cut back on costs.
So if you were to win this $10,000, and looking forward to the next year with this business, what do you think guys think is realistic? Like, how many homes do you think you'd be managing in a year from now, or how many requests? What's it going to take to get there? Give me a little bit of your thoughts on the realistic business path moving forward.
So realistically, we see ourselves getting up to about 50 or so homes, preferably at the end of the summer. And that's because in a lot of mountain towns, they are seasonally or very transient communities where you have the snowbirds that come up for the winter, and then the summer people who let their house sit empty during the winter, and vice versa. We've been able to get, say, 10 or so homes for who are gone during the winter. And now we feel that that clientele is going to be back for the summer and be able to refer us to a lot of the families that they know locally that are in this transition period of a few months. And we have plans on reaching out to each one of our clients and asking for more of a referral channel, which all of them have been quite happy with our services. We see that being a big jump, getting, say, 1 to 2 to 3 from each client that we currently have, getting us up to 30 or so homes. And then from there, our print advertising is helping us scale out on that side, along with more properties are sold during the summer months. And the real estate channels that we have of a few hundred realtors locally will also allow us to then tap into a whole new market of the new homeowners that have recently purchased the property. Along with our affiliation with the property management companies, we see more growth on that side as well. Just being able to provide services to, quote, homeowners and to rental properties.
Right. As property managers, they already have a lot of clients underneath their belt, so it allows us to tap into that client pool that they have for us to be able to provide services to them.
We have 2 final questions for you guys. Then a bit of advice or just thoughts after listening to this pitch. So the first of the final 2 questions are, give me your last final thoughts on why you should win the $10,000 prize.
The $10,000 will be put to a lot of use in regards to how we wish to spend it, the exposure our company needs to receive to get us up to that next level, along with being able to pay some of our staff that's been put a lot of time into volunteering their time. And that'll then allow us to cover our debts and grow the company to where we see it going and where a lot of the community see us going as well. Comes back to capital and usage.
And if someone's listening to this show and they're interested in signing up, where's the best place for them to find you guys?
So they can find us at www.curo, C-U-R-O, home.com. And they can sign up right on our website.
Excellent. Hopefully we found you some new customers through this podcast. So Laura, after listening to this pitch, what are your overall thoughts on both their pitch as well as your predictions on the future of the company, or what hurdles you foresee?
Yeah, so the pitch, you started with like a vision for 2019. It almost felt like you were hiding your current numbers because there were so many slides with projections, which we all know we can write whatever we want for our projections. So I would have liked to hear more about where you're currently at. Basic questions like, have you had funding already? Are you self-funding it? Stuff like that wasn't answered. And there was sort of some side stuff that's not as interesting to investors, honestly, like kind of the personal stories about team. Charming, but not really as important as some basics like here's how many customers we have right now and here's how we got them.
Good tips. For me, well, first of all, nice job, guys. I think you did like a nice job with the presentation. Both of you are great speakers. I like the matching shirts. I can dig it. For me, like the biggest advice I would have for you guys moving forward is to try to clarify like your overall value prop or exactly what Curo Homes could do. Like to me, like after watching your pitch, it still wasn't quite clear to me, right? Like, how do I have to pay for this? I'm not quite sure. Is this for me if I'm renting a home, or is this for me if I own a home, like renting it out? It seems to me like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs when they're first getting started kind of run into this, like, let's just try to be like everything for everybody because we're just trying to hustle to get wherever we can. And sometimes that's fine for just like exploring markets, but trying to like drive down on what you think is going to be like your best market and being able to like clearly explain that to someone who might be interested in Curo Homes, I think could be really beneficial for you guys.
Yeah, and I just want to throw in one more little thing. Is subscriptions and seasonal contracts just seem like a huge opportunity for you guys that maybe you haven't pursued thus far, because you've talked about standard things like home check-ins, a standard pace of if people are gone, you're going to check in every 2 weeks or every month or whatever. I think you'd make the homeowner's job a lot easier by saying, here's what most people like to do. Here's what we propose, instead of, because right now it's sort of cumbersome for the homeowner that they have to contact you. It's like, go check the water pipes, go make sure none of the windows are broken. So the easier you can make things for your customers, the better. And then that's a good better financially for you guys to be able to say, okay, we're going to service your home for the year. You're here for this one season. Here's what we do every month.
I don't want to apologize because I'm pretty proud of our presentation, but I do want to apologize in the sense that we didn't tell you as clear as we could have, because we have put together bundled packages for homeowners during the seasonal periods that they're not in town. And those range anywhere from $75, where 2 checkups happen in the month, all the way up to $200, where they're bundling up. And majority of our clients are around a $200 range every month to pay for services, specifically to 2 checkups, where the house is getting a full walkthrough of any potential issues, along with 4 or more random requests that they may have during that period of time to provide additional services, such as airport pickup for the weekend, or package delivery, or opening the house for the cleaners. These are the consistent services that are needed for the properties as they sit unoccupied. And we have put together a kind of like a bundled subscription for homeowners during the 6-month period that they're out of town.
Yeah, and that can be found on our website as well under pricing. So it's curohome.com, and you just go under pricing. Nice
job again, guys. I can see the enthusiasm. I can tell you guys are really passionate about this, and I'm confident you'll have success in the future with it. So thanks again for coming on.
Well, Greg, we look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Go Pitch Win podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us an honest review over on iTunes. Do you have a new business that needs seed money, or a new project that you're ready to get up and going? There's a $10,000 prize for the winning pitch. So what are you waiting for? Get your pitching skills ready and apply over at gopitchwin.com. Join us for the next episode to hear more great business ideas, and of course, find out who will win the grand prize to make their business dreams come true.